You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. By going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com, you can make this possible. Folks in Philadelphia, the DA there, Larry Krasner, has asked the Pennsylvania Supreme Court to declare the death sentence unconstitutional. In his brief, is part of a broader push that started last August when lawyers representing death row prisoners Jermont Cox and Kevin Marinelli asked the state Supreme Court to weigh in on Pennsylvania's use of the death penalty. Scott, stop talking. Several organizations, including Juvenile Law Center, the ACLU of Pennsylvania, and the NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund, as well as murder victims' family members and former prosecutors and judges, filed amicus briefs in support of Cox and Marinelli. As part of the brief, Krasner's challenge includes new research into 155 death convictions that took place between 1978 and 2017 in Philadelphia. Philadelphia courts have sentenced more people to death than any other jurisdiction in the state, according to the brief, many of whom are people of color. Out of the 45 people currently on death row for Philadelphia, 37 are black and 4 are from other minority groups, according to the brief. All right, weigh in. So your mic's still on, so they can hear you talking.
I didn't realize that, but it's amicus brief.
It's a television show.
Amicus.
First of all, it's a television show. Okay. When you're mic'd up, you're still being heard. So when you over here going wacka, 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 the mics are on. You were talking, leaning back, talking to Monique, talking to Michael, like you ain't got a mic on. Monique, what do you make of Larry Krasner? First of all, the move is also here. The Pennsylvania legislature stripped different powers from him. They don't like the fact that he's a progressive district attorney. Cops are not happy with him as well because he was a very strong defense attorney, often going after police departments. What do you make of him trying to get them to declare this unconstitutional?
Okay, and so first of all, this is a perfect example of when someone goes from the defense side of the aisle and switches to the prosecutorial ranks. We need that. We need somebody who understands what it's like to defend cases, who still understands the role of the state and the role of prosecutors. And obviously, I mean, I'm against the death penalty, so I believe that he's right about this. I believe that presidential candidate Kamala Harris was right about this when she was in his position and fought against death penalty and would not support the death penalty as something that the prosecutors were going for. That's what prosecutorial discretion is all about. I'm sure that Scott disagrees with me because Scott is not really a liberal. Scott just fronts as a liberal on certain issues, but we know he's a conservative.
Michael, your thoughts on what Larry Krasner is doing?
You're going to let her say that to me?
Let's wait. That's your job to respond. Michael?
I, too, am against death penalty, except in certain cases. But elections have consequences, and these kind of appointees, it depends on who wins elections and makes these appointees, and that's how decisions are made. So to your point, Roland, to your point, Mr. President, you got to get out, you got to mobilize, you got to register and vote, because you can't sit back the next day and wonder, oh, my goodness, what happened? And one last point about this whole getting out to vote. Everyone has a candidate in this primary. And if your candidate does not win, you cannot take your ball and go home.
Right.
You have to get behind the leader, assuming you're a Democrat.
That's right.
You have to get behind whoever that person is, because you can't say, oh, I'm going to take my ball and go home, because all that is a vote for 45.
Scott, you can now respond.
I don't like labels, because I look at issues, and like Democrats all look at issues. So on this particular issue, since I'm a former prosecutor and the only one on the panel, right?
Monique, were you a prosecutor?
Yes.
Oh, well, there are 2 of us. We're the only 2 on the panel then.
No, I'm just saying, but you were assuming you were the only one.
Well, I did not.
I want to read bios.
I know
Go ahead.
history, but
Go ahead.
But here's the deal. Obviously, I don't support the death penalty because of its disparate impact on people of color in my own community, okay? That's the first thing. So secondly, I do think that the legislature who's tried to take his powers, they actually wanted them to share powers with the state's attorney general, and the state's attorney general has indicated that he's not going to usurp that power, even though the Senate and the House gave him that power. But this is happening in other parts of the country, too. There are like at least 4 or 5 other district attorneys of major urban centers who are taking this position against the death penalty. The reality...
Aaron Masayala, the first black state's attorney in Florida.
This one.
Of course, pissed off then Governor Rick Scott, who tried to... Who said he was taking any death penalty case from her jurisdiction. And so, yeah, you have other places where they've done that. Go ahead.
This is an extraordinary measure by the DA to go directly to the Supreme Court. They've got to decide to take it up, and then they've got to rule on it, whether it's disproportionate impact. But the other thing that they're finding is that the lack of good legal counsel is a factor that has put people of color, poor people, on death row in several jurisdictions. In fact, the reason they've been delayed in not being executed has been because they've been winning these motions recently against for ineffective assistance of counsel. So that's all in the mix. But I think it's a good move. Watch to see whether the Supreme Court takes it up or not for the state of Pennsylvania.
All right, folks, back to that Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, folks, Roland Martin here. They are back. The folks with marijuanastock.org, of course. You might remember just a few months ago, of course, many of you had the opportunity to invest in their last crowdfunding campaign. It raised a ton of money in just a few months investing in legal marijuana farms. Those initial investors now own shares of a publicly traded company. Now they have a new investment opportunity that is as good, if not even better, than the last one. I'm talking about industrial hemp CBD. For those who don't know, the hemp plant is the cousin to marijuana with a much higher concentration of CBD, which means hemp CBD gives you all the medical benefits of marijuana without getting you high. Until recently, hemp farming was practically illegal in the U.S. and heavily regulated by the DEA. However, the 2018 Farm Bill changed all of that, making it legal to grow hemp CBD in the U.S., creating one of the largest commodities worldwide. They need land to grow all of the plants, which makes for an incredible investment opportunity. And that's where our good friends at 420 Real Estate come in. Their business model, folks, is simple. They buy land that supports hemp CBD grow operations and lease it to licensed high-paying tenants. They are hemp CBD landlords, and you can get in on the action. You can invest in this crowdfunding campaign for as little as $200 up to $10,000. All right, for you to invest, go to marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org to get in the game. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.